Hi everyone, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, if you think you're cruising again in May, I think you have to think again. So recently, a bunch of cruise lines had extended their voluntary shutdown, they call it, from, you know, coming out in the middle of April, around the 13th of April to around the 13th to the 15th of May, or the end of April for some cruise lines. Unlike Princess, who had shut down for 60 days right away, they're scheduled to come back online in May. However, things really haven't changed, have they? In fact, there are still cruise lines out there that have ships out there, and they're trying to still get passengers back to shore. And there's also tons and tons of crew members that they're trying to get home, and they can't do that as well. But a few things have come to light that will kind of put more of a light on why we don't think we're going to be cruising again anytime soon, like in May or even June for that matter. And that is, for instance, Royal Caribbean has just assigned 4 cruise ships where they will begin to transfer crew members to these ships and send them home. So they are planning to head out to a port, a designated port where they get permission to bring their crews someplace kind of halfway, if you will, maybe Fiji, someplace like that, where they can offload passengers and fly them back to their home countries of origin. So if a cruise ship and a cruise line is planning on getting rid of a bunch of their crew members on their ships, does it sound like that they're going to plan like they're going to start up again in 30 days? It doesn't sound like that to me. Going through all the expense and all the travel and the cost of sending people home and bringing them back and flights and all this stuff just doesn't sound very feasible. So I think they're planning for a much longer shutdown. The same with Carnival Cruise Line. Carnival Cruise Line just applied to put a lot of their ships into what they called warm storage. Now, some of the ways different what you're thinking about. Some cruise ships will remain out at sea with a full crew on them. And those ones will be able to go back in and out of port, go out, fill their ballast, empty their ballast, pick up supplies, go out, but no crew members will be going off and on of the cruise ships. Other cruise ships, what they want to say is put into warm storage, are ones that they can dock and tie up, and they want to basically shut them down. Or even some of them offshore, if they can anchor them securely in a safe place with a minimal crew on board, they want to shut as much of the ship down as possible and get as many of the crew members off and shipped home, because they estimate that they can save between $1 to $2 million a month for every ship they put into warm storage or cold storage. And when you have 111 ships in your fleet, that's 111 to $222 million a month for a company not making any money right now. That's a ton of money. Now, Carnival has just gone up and they shored up to over $6 billion in funding. So they can last, they have plans for 90 days to 120 days. They have contingency plans out there. However, this move is more for us in the cruises to say, you know what? May 15th, I don't think that's going to happen. In fact, they've already canceled, for instance, Royal Caribbean has already canceled their June cruises going to Alaska. Already done. And I imagine you're going to hear that very shortly from Carnival. Well, Carnival has actually canceled theirs, but you have Princess, who's big in Alaska, hasn't announced that yet. But I'm pretty sure that's happening as well. I mean, the ports are closed. You can't really go there. Canada's closed. You can't get there till July. How is this cruise going to go forward? So they're planning to start getting crew members back home and away. And once those contracts end, if those crew members are home, they no longer have to pay those crew members as well. As long as they're on the ships, or as the contract is still going, they are paying those crew members who are basically not really doing a whole lot. You see lots of cruise bloggers out there from people on cruise ships, and when they were on the cruise ship, they were lounging by the pool, and they were, dancing in the disco at night, and things like that, doing go-karts, and they were having fun because there's nothing else to do. There's no passengers on board these ships, and they're just tied off, anchored at sea. So yes, you can understand why the cruise lines want to do this. They want to try and mitigate as much expense as possible, including fuel, food, rationing, supplies, everything that comes associated with running a huge cruise ship and a huge cruise line. So that's pretty much it. If if these don't tell you right now, the signs are there. All signs point to shutting down longer than May. So if you're holding out hope that June, July, and August are all going to be back to normal on the cruise industry side of it, even if they start up, you can pretty much imagine that it's only going to be a few ships here and there, a few ports here and there. It's not going to be 100% all at once. In fact, once they put these ships into cold storage and shut down the engines, and they empty the ballast, and they set up dehumidifiers in the engine to stop corrosion, and all these other things they have to do, it can take at least 3 weeks to get that ship up and running again where it's eligible to take passengers back on board. So even if they only shut down for 30 days, well, that's close to 60 days when you add those 3 weeks in there as well. So bad news for us, but we shouldn't really be that surprised. Let me know what you guys think. Actually, when do you think cruising will start up again? I'm honestly thinking we're talking fall and late fall. I'm thinking September, October, more like October, November, December is when people are going to start venturing out again on the cruise ships, if not waiting all the way to 2021. So yeah, it could be a very long time before we get our sea legs back on the cruise ships. Let me know what you guys think. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world? Hit that subscribe button. Till next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.